music playing.
Honestly, you gotta pull it together. You gotta pull it
Hey,
together.
so I think this is so cool. I think that it's so cool that you're doing this. I think
I
people have
think
a
it could
lot
be
to
cool.
learn from you. Yeah, including me. I have so much to learn from you. I haven't practiced drums at all
Come on,
since we started,
come
and
on.
I need some inspiration. I need some reminders on why I should play drums.
Cause they're cool. They're
They are the
sick.
coolest.
And
They
you get all
are.
the girls playing drums.
It's that's how you do it.
That's why you do it. But we were talking about this. We were talking this over text. So like,
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time talking about my approach to how I perform your songs live and stuff like that. And I thought it'd be super cool if you talk about sort of how you come up with the drum parts for your songs, and like if it's like you come up with the melody, and then you're kind of like, oh, like you hear the drums right away, or like
Well, I
your
think,
approach.
you know, well, remember when we were practicing There's Nothing Holding Me Back?
Yeah,
And I was like, we have to do this
and we did it so many
900
times.
times over and over and over again until you could feel the lock of the vocal and the drums. I
Right.
feel like the drums can make or break a song 100%, 100% of the time, because the truth is that that's the way people are gonna move to your song. You
Yeah.
can either make them move one way or another, and the drums are really gonna dictate that. And everyone is honestly waiting for that moment. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, the song started, the song's happening. Now how does he want me to dance to it?
Yeah.
You know?
But
I
like,
feel like, tell me.
like okay, so you take a song like Treat You Better, right?
Yeah.
Your groove is
Well,
you could have just as easily went, I know I can treat you better.
maybe that would actually have been cooler.
No, I don't know about that. You do this?
This isn't working, is this?
But like, yeah, it just I think in that song particularly, the guitar and everything fits in so sweet. It's just awesome.
Thanks, dude. I mean, I think when it comes to drums, I have a lot of amazing producers that I work with and players. But I think that for me, the drums and the vocals have to dance together. It's a big dance, you know,
Yeah,
and if you know, the drums can really easily just be getting in the way of the vocal, and the vocal can easily be getting in the way of the groove.
yeah,
And you can feel the second, which I think, which is like the main feeling of rap too, is like
yeah.
of rap songs and trap songs, is like when those drums are right with the way the rapper, the singer is putting the melody on the track, then you feel locked, and that is everything, you know. We spend a
100%.
lot of times on drums. We spend a lot of time
Dude,
making those drums sound nice.
how from learning the drums, how much do you think that helped your guitar playing and your piano playing?
Guys, I have to admit something. Playing drums is like learning another language, and watching drummers like Mike play makes it look so easy. But like honestly, if you can like stomp your foot and clap your hands in a different rhythm, good for you, because that took me a long time to learn. It's
Dude, you sound
hard.
great. You picked up quickly though.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. This is
Anyway,
so fun. Look at everyone on here.
everyone's talking.
Come to Brazil again. We will come to Brazil. I was on FaceTime with Kez this morning and Zubin earlier, talking about how much I missed tour. I'm so
Really?
excited to go on it again.
I can't wait to go back.
Dude, you have so many drums in your house. Like all I can see is drums right now.
Yeah, it's full of drums.
The fans want to know if you sleep in the drum kit, or do you have a bed?
Not anymore. Now I have a bed.
You have a bed now, but you
I
used to sleep.
I used to have this massive drum set right beside my mattress, and I didn't have a bed. So
You
I
just
moved
sleep
up my
on that.
bed and mattress so that I could
Yeah.
have band practice on the floor.
Yeah, and you haven't left that basement probably with all the drums since this
I
has started.
try not to, but every now and again I have to sort of emerge.
You have to eat and pee and
I
stuff,
eat, pee,
all those stuff. Yeah.
all those kind of things, you know?
Mike, I love you so much, man.
love
I
you.
think this is so cool. I'm gonna stay on and watch you, but I think if there's anyone in here wanting to learn how to play drums, this is your guy. And just be excited about drumming. You don't even have to want to learn. Just listen to what he's saying and what he's doing, because it's so fun. Do we have Dave?
Is Dave
We
here?
have Zubin.
You know what, they got to come up with a way of doing multiple Instagram stories or multiple Instagram.
I know you have to be able to do like 3 or 4.
Dude, we should all get on here and chat.
We got to get Dave, the bassist, on here. We got to get Zubin on here.
Got to get Zubin. Zubin's going to come on next.
All right. See you, bro. I love you so much.
Okay. I love you so much. Have a good one.
Everyone.
Thank you so much. Well, that is the great Shawn Mendes. Yeah, that's really interesting stuff, man. So next, we have Zubin. And we're going to learn about Zubin's approach. And here is Zubin. Wow. God, I'm good. This is my first time doing this, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll see how it goes. But there's always next week, right?
Hey!
Zubin Thacker.
What's going on?
I didn't recognize you without the wig, man.
That's right. What an act to follow.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm great.
I think you're just as good looking as Shawn.
Thank you.
It means a lot.
That does mean a lot. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that once and for all and clearing the air on that. Thanks.
You heard it here first.
Oh, I see you did a very slick little outfit change between acts right now.
I know, well, I was getting a little hot, and then I wonder if maybe this is not, sitting on a drum stool is not the most attractive way a man can look,
But you spend a lot of time doing that, though. You figured out a way to look good sitting on a drum stool. In fact, you made it your living.
God, I picked a good guy to come on here.
Now, you know what, Mike, you're really kind of doing like a torso waist belt up situation. And I frankly would love to know are you wearing day pants? Are you wearing night pants?
I'm wearing no pants right now.
You wearing jeans, no pants? Wow.
That's just what my lower half looks like. Those are actually pants.
Awesome. You're in the drum den?
I'm in the drum den.
You've got some lovely cajones back there, I can see.
You may remember this one from MTV Unplugged. Wait, you can't see it.
Is that the MTV Unplugged lap cajon?
MTV Unplugged.
We used that for the bad rep snare, right?
We did.
Yeah.
But I didn't have anything to mute it with, so I stuffed it with my dirty underwear and socks. You remember that?
Actually?
This is the very same one.
That's awesome.
Anyway, now that I have you here, I didn't think we would just talk about, your
pants, dirty
underwear, stuff like that. But I thought it'd be cool. Maybe you talk about when you're programming your drums. You're
sure.
Sort of
we spend
program man.
So we spend so much time, all of us.
So much.
Like Shawn said, we spend so much time working on drums.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe it's interesting for people to know what the process is sort of when we get some new material to play. The way it works is we'll get a demo or we'll get a finished song from Shawn. And from there, usually the first thing we do when we're in a rehearsal is we dive into the drums. So that can take on many shapes and forms depending on how the song sounds. So like you guys were talking about Hold Me Back. Mm-hmm. Hold Me Back was like a pretty programmed sounding song. That's what sort of gives it its energy on the actual album record version. But I guess our job and your job, Mike, is to present that energy, but live, because you're not going to play a computer live, or you're not going to play just necessarily electronic pads live. You're going to play a drum set, right?
Yeah.
So how do you somehow make that song feel as good and more sort of amplified and in your face live? Yeah. That's always the challenge.
You got to keep the integrity of the recording while making it sound,
of course,
super energetic and super exciting live.
Totally, because like I mean, Shawn works with some of the best producers in the world, and is one of the best producers in the world. So it's like you got to maintain the choices that they made in the first place. Absolutely. And present those sonics the same way, but also have to give it a live feel. That's what also makes the visual elements. Like, it's one thing when you're listening to a song, but it's a different thing when you're listening and seeing and watching a song happen live in front of you. Yeah. It changes what's happening, and it gives you a lot more liberty to do things. You can kind of do way crazier things live because you have the visual element of someone either doing those things or Shawn being there on stage also accenting those moments.
Yeah.
While if those same things were happening on the record and you were just listening to them in your car or something, you might be like,
Yeah.
you know, like it's too many slaps in the face sometimes and doesn't make sense always. But it's funny that you actually just have some of your drums called up here right now.
Really?
So, do you remember what So there's, I mean, you know, very sort of out of context example, but like that's what you play in the bridge, the breakdown section,
of Hold Me Back,
going into the last chorus, right? Sounds nothing.
Song, it's just claps.
Exactly.
That's a perfect example of how to take something, but keep the integrity of the recording, but make it sound super energetic live. Right? Because we do that snare thing, right? We do that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I guess what is the like? I mean, again, back to the process of what we do when we get into rehearsals together is, oftentimes we'll have a multi-track off the song, which means that we have sort of each element of the song broken out, so we can solo just the drums or solo just the bass or just the guitars to kind of dive in and analyze each part. Right. And create an arrangement then live that makes sense. So what we'll do is we'll usually take the drum part first, solo out the drums. Mike and I and Shawn will listen to it together in the room and sort of just like figure out what are we going to do. Like you can't always play just your standard snare drum, right? Every time you hear the backbeat, it doesn't make sense. That's not how programmed modern music sounds or whatever kind of modern music. You can't just do like kick, snare, hat, whatever. So you got to figure out, are we going to let the program stuff take over in this section and you're going to complement it? Are we going to let you take over in this section and let the programming complement it with some program percussion, things like that? And then I guess maybe, I'm sure you're going to talk about it, but like on this last tour we did, we spent a lot of time taking all the drum stuff to the next level, right? With using triggers across the kit and being able to take all those choices that Shawn and the producers made in terms of what sounds they were going to use percussion and drum wise and be able to map them right onto your kit. So we can maintain that your human feel, which feels great, but also have the sounds of the record playing that you're triggering at the same time.
Yeah, totally. It was quite the quest.
It was quite the quest. Yeah.
Awesome.
But, I mean, I don't know what else you want to chat about, but like, I love drums and I love spending so much time with you on drums. It really does sort of, like Shawn was saying, the drums and the vocals are the thing. That's the magic. The drums and the vocals are the magic, because if the drums don't feel good, they don't sound good. If they're not in your face, then your body's not moving,
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta really have a good bass. And then everything else can just twinkle over top.
There you go. Except the bass, which is also the bass.
Except the bass is also the bass.
I saw that Dave was on.
Is he?
He was.
Dave. I wish we could do a three-way.
I know, wouldn't that be fun?
That would be
then
so
Dave,
much fun.
Dave could tell us about all the times that he sits there while we work on drums. Dave, your thoughts?
Dave.
But yeah, what else? What do you think the sort of what's the sort of like magic element of being able to take a recorded song and arrange it on the drums for live?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I think it's very circumstantial. Like I think it can change drastically in between, like from song to song.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you as guitar player / musical director has done a fantastic job.
Well, hey, I can only do as good of a job as you are as good a drummer, so.
I can only be as good as you are as
my failings as a father are simply your failings as my no.
I never said I knew him. I said he touched me on the shoulder once.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Anyways, what's your favorite drum arrangement that we've done for the set on this last tour?
Wow, favorite? You're interviewing me now.
Well,
I like it. You are kind of the interviewer.
What do you think?
Favorite drum? I thought we did lovely things in Mutual.
That's so funny that you say that. I think the same. I thought
that is by far that's some crazy live stuff. Well, it's a really difficult song to play back live. There's so many different ways you can.
What is?
Mutual.
Mutual, yeah.
Like that's a difficult song to sort of like grasp and come up with like cool live parts while still making it sound like the live recording.
Yeah.
Zubin and I stayed up. Wait, what time did we leave the studio at that one night? It was super late.
It was late. I don't know if it was like
it was
the latest
pretty
ever,
late,
but it was pretty late.
I was half falling asleep, and then we started all this stuff.
It was maybe like 9:30, Mike.
No, it wasn't. I
was.
swear, it was like it was.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about
Easy.
SIR?
No, no, we did that in Burlington. Not Burlington. What's the other one? Metal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was late.
Wasn't it?
I think so.
And we came up with all those different sounds of how to do that. So,
oh, that when you're talking about that mutual fill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool, right? Being able to map that. So there's a great example of something that like that's what they came up with while they were recording the actual song, working and programming the actual song. And that's that sound, that little fill that we're talking about is right before the second verse, right? Yeah. And right before it. Yeah. It's the end of each chorus. And it sounds like sounds like wait. Where is it? Sorry. Yeah, which is the record. Well, that's not the record. That's Mike playing, but
those are the sounds. Right?
Those are the sounds with your live sounds as well, right?
Okay.
Which was sort of like there was no way we would be able to recreate exactly what they had done on the record without also chopping in some samples and triggering some of those samples live, just because like we can't do that drum smash thing as aggressively in the moment like that. So that was a cool one that we figured out how to chop up, and you figured out where to put it and be able to kind of execute that fill.
That was a
right into another section at the same time, you know?
Yeah,
that was
and
cool.
Going completely electronic to like acoustic electric and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What else got over there?
I thought one of the most interesting songs too that we kick me off whenever you need to, because I'm sure other people you want to talk to. I could literally talk about this for 2 hours, no problem.
I'm fill an hour. I'm only 20 minutes in.
Yeah, once you start a live show, you have to do the full hour.
You have to do the full thing.
Even if it just means you're sitting here.
Yeah. I may just end up taking my pants off and just sitting here. Take it all in.
I thought Treat You Better was a great one that we put together, which is also funny because like that one was like, when you think about the time span of all of this, that was a long time ago now, you know?
Yeah.
Compared to say,
that song has had many different we've changed that song, changed the live arrangement many times. Yeah. Throughout the whole course of the whole thing, right?
Yeah, and tweaked it. But that was one of those ones too. It's interesting because like any of those songs that, you know, the beat you were playing when you and Shawn were first on, they're like boom, 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 boom.
Boom, what, at the very beginning?
Yeah, it's like that's a very familiar beat, and you got to figure out how to create that tribal kind of feel, but still make it sound modern somehow, you know? Yeah. So what did you do for that one on this past tour? Because we recently, like on the last run, we changed how
we tossed crazy tribal toms on, right? So it was
yeah. Which was cool in a way to kind of...
we had the snare too. We had something on the snare.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, one of the trickiest ones I thought that we had to put together was surprisingly In My Blood.
Yeah.
It's the most organic sounding. It's the most organic drum sound on anything at least of the singles that we've kind of had to put together. But to me, I thought was actually one of the trickiest ones to do, which is funny because you'd think it would be the easiest because it sounds as it is, and it sounds like live acoustic drums, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. That one was hard.
It was tricky.
Yeah.
We ended up changing that one a lot from the way we started at the very beginning.
Totally. The kick pattern changed a bunch of times in the end.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing we figured out also, which I mean, it's not like a big secret or anything, but it's like less is more when you're playing rooms of that size. Yeah, less is more.
We started off with the kick. It was like.
Yeah.
And then we changed it to.
right. Hey, there's.
People are like,
Did you see it?
Is that Dave?
Gertler's on. Hey, Andrew.
30. How are you, Andrew?
Yeah, but I thought that was a tricky one. But again, like after taking some of those kick hits out, all of a sudden it opens that chorus up, and there was no need for us to add those extra hits. Which sometimes in the rehearsal room things feel good.
Yeah,
because you're on in-ears and everything's just right here. You can get away with a lot of adding in a lot of extra details, right? That don't when you're blasting out of an arena PA, get swallowed up in this gigantic room. And man, on that last run, there were some of those rooms that were just like,
yeah, the sound
like they're
impossible.
It's impossible. Like,
yeah,
you should just be playing quarter notes in every song, you know?
Exactly.
So
it's like the way more effective feel is the
yeah.
Like instead of the something absolutely crazy. I find that always works. Anyway, you're so right.
Andrew says play Ruin.
Play Ruin? All right, ready.
Well, hey, one last question for you, then I'll jump off. But the one thing I think is interesting in your world as the drummer is you have to figure out oftentimes how to do these songs for the big arrangement, right? The big full band smashing out arena arrangement, right? But then we do something like MTV Unplugged from a few years ago, and you have to take these same songs, right? And then somehow make them sound correct.
Completely different as well.
And completely the same and completely different at the same time, and have the energy translate, but without a 15-piece drum set, right?
Yeah.
And playing blast sticks as much as I can get you to play with them, you know?
Yeah.
So how does that work for you?
The MTV thing I found very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I found that extremely challenging, despite the fact that I don't love playing with hot rods.
Oh, look at those things though. They sound great.
There's too much slap, man. But they're great. They are great for their use. I found that very difficult to just take the exact same songs that you've learned so thoroughly in one kind of way, and then just completely turn them on their head and like completely change them into sort of different thing, but like you say, it's still the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's some kind of weird hybrid of the same thing. What
was your favorite one from the Unplugged record?
I liked what was the one where I had to have one stick in one hand and then I had to do this and I had to do that? Was that treat you better? I had to do some crazy maneuver.
Yeah, that's because you were using mallets, right?
I was using mallets and sticks and like all this stuff, and I had like some just like hanging out. And what one was that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
There's a perfect shot of it on the broadcast. After I saw that, I was like, "Oh, damn, that's cool."
Amazing, dude. Well, I won't keep you.
Thank you so much for joining.
Of course, I miss
and
you.
Sharing your expertise.
Hey. It's always a pleasure.
I hope to see you in person one day.
I hope so. All right, man. Great talking to you.
Okay. Say hello to the family.
I will. See you guys.
Goodbye. Well, oh my God, remove Zubin? I don't know if I want to do that. What, I gotta remove you? Okay, bye, Zubin.
Bye.
You're being removed.
I know.
Awesome. So that was Zubin Thacker. So I think every week, maybe what I should do is also do like sort of like a lick for like the drummers, so that it's not just all like talking and stuff like that. We can also do a little bit of playing. But I figured that a lot of people on here maybe aren't even drummers, right? So maybe here is a drum related thing that you don't need drums to do. And you also don't need to be a drummer to do it. So to start off, I was just going to go like this. So you can just play it on your leg. So you're going to do 4 in your hands and then 2 on your feet. So you're going to go. So I think this is really cool. And then when you take it to the drums, you got something like this. And then when you learn it with your right hand leading, go to your left hand leading. And we got that comfortable, moved across the toms. And then maybe go back the other way with your left hand. And then when you get comfortable with that, put it in a groove and play it everywhere. Anyway, so that's this week's licks. That's the lick for the week. Yeah, you can practice it at home. No drums. So that's that. So up next, a good friend of mine plays with a band called Bush. And they were this massive band in the 90s, and they're still absolutely huge. And I really hope he's on here, because I've known this guy for I've known him for maybe over 10 years. Nick! All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the drummer from Bush, Nick. Welcome. And he's coming on right now. Connecting, Nick!
What's up, dude?
What's happening, baby boy?
Not too much, man. Just hanging out. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you so well.
This is the first time I've ever been live before.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we're doing this together.
Thank you for being with me at this time.
Awesome. So what's happening, dude?
Man, obviously, I'm in LA, so like a lot of us, we're kind of just, social distancing. So I've used this garage space for a while, but I'm kind of using it more officially.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to be on tour right now, but we're not, obviously. And dude, actually been creating a ton of music, like recording songs, and just kind of put out the word that I have like a full recording rig here. So been playing a lot, which has been kind of a blessing in that sense.
That's
so
amazing.
yeah.
So are you like at home?
Yeah. So in my garage, I mean, it's not necessarily like, east west of the village or some of these studios that we've used for big projects, but it actually sounds pretty good. And so,
awesome.
so just doing some stuff. Yeah, man.
Killer. And then I guess you guys were supposed to be on the road this year, right?
Yeah. So I tour with Bush, and we were supposed to be in Australia right now throughout April. So that got pushed to next year. Yeah. And just like a bunch of people's tours. So so we'll see. Hopefully everybody's, it's more important to be safe than to get out on the road, looking forward to it again, but whenever it's appropriate.
Dude, I saw you guys in Toronto.
Yeah.
Budweiser, and you sound better than ever. Like you sound, oh dude.
You're too kind.
It was amazing. You got like that whole, you like hit the drums.
Yeah. It's funny. It's fun to be back on an acoustic kit. I've had a bunch of gigs over the years, and this one is like, just straight up rock and roll. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, I guess with Bishop Briggs, you had like a crazy electronic setup, right?
Yeah. So that was like, I got hired to kind of MD that project before there were any shows. And, the records are all programmed. So much like everything you were talking about, how to translate it live, with you guys, with Shawn, it's a different thing, and you integrate more live elements. For Bishop at the time, they wanted it to be very electronic. So I had like a full, it was basically just a SPDSX Roland and some triggers, and then it kind of,
you have a couple kicks too, like a couple like
it grew from there. So I put a bass drum on its side and kind of used it as a tom and triggered it with some various sounds. But the first gig we did, I just had an SPDSX, and I just felt like it was like too small, like nothing was covering me. I felt like exposed. So that gig was
like just an SPDSX and look cool.
Yeah. I know, right? So yeah, I mean the gig, like that expanded or whatever, but it was funny to I like to hit hard. So breaking a lot of gear and then finding out what I could hit and hard and what I couldn't hit hard in order to like achieve this show. But yeah, but now with Bush, it's like the exact opposite, which is so fun. And
Do you use
I
electronics with Bush?
what's that?
Are
Do I
you
use
using
any?
electronics with Bush?
No.
Just all
No.
acoustic.
Yeah. So really the only thing we run click a lot in our in-ears, but for the most part, most songs are open too. So like there's certain sections that depending on the night, you know, we'll extend a thing or if Gavin does this or that. Yeah. It's
Dude,
kind of a whole different world.
Unreal that night.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. That was a fun, good hang for sure.
That was really good hang. Fuck. It was a rough morning the next day.
I know. I think that was the last night of tour. We flew home that next day. Yeah.
Crazy.
But how are you keeping up, man? How's everything with you?
I don't know. Everything's been canceled. So,
yeah.
Been practicing a lot. Yeah, hoping one day get to play in front of people.
Yeah. Just getting ready for whenever that happens.
Luckily, same thing. Like I have a spot that I can sort of like practice and work on stuff. But yeah, man, weird times.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yo, so do you have any like cool lick that you could show? Something.
You know. Yeah. I mean, I've been like, it's been, you know, I have 2 kids. They're pretty young, so like practice time has been, you know, tough over the years. More like just working on music and like what I have to like record and play. So this time,
man, you sound sick.
well, but thank you. But this time has been like pretty amazing. So like spending time every day on like working on kind of more interesting stuff, not necessarily stuff that we get to play on the gig, you know. Like just whether it's, you know, Annika Niles or Mark Giuliano or Dave Elitch or any of the amazing drummers, you know, that are inspirations that are on Instagram. Just kind of taking those ideas and trying to like fit them with how I play. I don't really improvise that much. So I've been trying to take some time every day to improvise. But I've been messing around with an idea. Annika has a ton of stuff in 5, and like honestly, most of it is like I'm not there yet. But I love playing groupings of 5. So like as opposed to quintuplets where you're dividing the beat by 5. This is something that's kind of more 16th note based, but it's got 5 note groupings in it. So it's kind of a 2-bar fill if you're thinking about it as 16th notes, although if I play a halftime beat, they're kind of like 30-second notes, but I'll try not to get too nerdy. But the phrasing is so that's kind of the phrasing, but I put some kicks in there to where it kind of breaks it up. So it starts on the snare. It's so
cool.
I'll play it in context first, but oh, sorry, that was too fast.
Nice.
So in getting out of the fill, it's so 1 E and so right foot left. So
Woo!
you know,
Hell
that
yes.
idea. Yeah, so you know, just kind of that idea. It's really just like right foot, right, left, and you know, just kind of expanding on that. But yeah, that's something that I'm kind of just working on, like 5s, and like your lick was 6s, and it's kind of like whether you're playing it as 6-tuplets or playing it as 16th notes and making it a 6-note grouping. Like it's just you know, it's just 100%.
fun. So did did you take like, what was that sort of a hand exercise that Annika came up with, and you sort of like, or is that just something that you've just always kind of known and you've always been working on?
Well, I'm trying to get comfortable with the idea of different phrasing, but for me, like I love like putting it back into four, like 4/4. So it's like,
Yeah.
as opposed to just being like odd time signatures or like animals as leaders or something like that, which is amazing. For me, I feel like I really can understand like the odd groupings if I put it over 4/4. So, and just how
Right.
it sits. So just getting used to that.
Yeah, and hearing where one is every time.
Yeah, that 5-note grouping. So just been kind of experimenting with that. And then obviously like something you're really good at, but like that kind of like integration between hand and feet and kind of throwing that around the kit more than just like two, you know, like you had the 4 and 2 in your fill.
Yeah.
But just kind of finding new and interesting ways to kind of break that up. It's just like,
I find it's like whenever I'm playing like 5s or 7s or something, it's next to impossible for me if I don't keep my hi-hat going. Like if I don't keep my left foot like doing that, I can never find one. I just get so used to this 7 rhythm, and I'm like, where the hell am I?
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny how like it can be intimidating, but then the more you play it and the more that you hear it over and over and over again, then it starts to make sense, you know, just like the way that like a saxophone player listens to Coltrane or somebody, and those phrasings from,
I lost you a little bit.
like, oh yeah.
There we go.
Are we back?
Do that again?
It's like pouring here. It's like the coldest, rainiest thing in LA. It's like, yeah, we're ready for some sunshine to get, you know, I'm sure it's not as cold as you guys, but
it's pretty cold here, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not horrible, but like there's no rain, but I guess like once the weather gets nice for you guys, you'll just have to stay inside.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, yeah, very fortunate, but we have a little backyard that's like,
nice.
You know, it's a small little spot, but we can at least get out and get some sun and just kind of hang out. So we're ready for some sunshine, but yeah.
Awesome, dude. Yeah. So really quick, how do you develop the, like, how did you develop your ear for the 7s? Like, is it just a repetition kind of thing? Or are you just like,
for me, it's kind of like, it's working with the metronome. And then the reason why I talked about the phrasing on the snare before orchestrating it around on the kit is like really starting it on there. Like, I would show you, but I might mess up my setup, but I have a kit over there that I have with some triggers on it if I want to like make, you know, like beats. But and so I'll just start with the metronome on there, play nice and quietly so I can hear the metronome and just kind of try to get that ingrained, you know, before I start orchestrating it, because you know how it is, like you really have to have a lick down, and then you'll know you have that lick down if you can like just take, you know, we can take one coordination and play it a million different ways. So once you can throw it all around, then, you know, then you get, then, you know, that's like kind of the next step. So for me, just like what you're saying, whether it's keeping hi-hat, doing it on a pad, nice and slow, obviously, that's how I kind of,
So you normally kind of just work out the hand pattern and then take it to the kit. So sort of wait till you're like super confident in just that, and then take it and put it all kinds of other places.
Yeah. Yes. Nowadays, because so when I moved to LA, like in 2007, but you know, I had been to school for music and I like thought I could play some stuff or whatever. And it was a real learning experience. In particular, I took a lesson with one of our good friends, Randy Cook, who's an amazing drummer from Toronto. Yeah. And it was like, it was funny to hear, because he just made me like really like analyze my drumming to another level, like stuff that I thought I could be doing. And he was just kind of like, you know, that could be a little cleaner. Like in the same way that if you were, Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, but
okay,
like
but
yes, go ahead.
I always think about the story that you told me about how you were playing 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. And then he's like, play it slower. It's not clean. and you're like, man, like I thought it was kind of clean, and I always think about that whenever I go back and try to like play that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I probably played that song for 30 hours one week and then played it for Randy, and he was like, yeah, it's pretty good. I think it could be cleaner. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know. But for me, I feel like if I'm on the pad, so since that experience, I feel like if I'm on the pad, or like, you know, that was another thing with the Bishop gig, is like the electronic drums are so unforgiving. There's no sustain in the sound. So just realizing like how precise you have to be, that was another thing, kind of like a step in my playing where I had to really analyze what I was doing. So because of that, I feel like sometimes if I'm on the kit, I'll just be like, yeah, that sounds cool, without like really diving into that deeper. So that's why I'll always start on kind of a pad or just on my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed as soon as we started implementing triggers over top of the whole kit, I had to play way cleaner, and I thought I was already playing clean.
Yeah.
But then you go back, and if you have samples over each one of your drums, you can't, like, there's no messing around. Like, you can't sort of half hit anything. Everything has to be so precise and so in time, because you have this massive trigger on that's just gonna absolutely blow it up.
Yeah, exactly. And like, and when you can flam even things that you know, we do as drummers, like that in Bush, I don't necessarily have to think about because it's just me playing drums. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, because then you know, and with what you guys were talking about with getting things set up, you have to make sure that like you're, as much as you can, front of house would take care of it, but like your samples are in phase with your live stuff. And then if you think about it like that, that's how precise you also have to be with when you're hitting your own drums, you know?
Absolutely. So, yeah. Our front of house guy, we dealt with a lot of the trigger kind of related things. Like we used to run all of our triggers through Ableton.
Yeah.
And then, so I had a TD50 and an SPDSX, and they were talking via MIDI. And then that was going to Ableton, to like the Ableton rig, which then was going through some sort of like MIDI changer box, then all the way to front of house. And in that, we had something like 17 milliseconds of latency at the worst part.
Wow.
So like essentially it would be maybe not that bad, but like, you know, between the sample and the snare, like it was absolutely insane. We tried all these different ways to troubleshoot it, to get it all down. And it was crazy. So it ended up, he would delay my drums, like my acoustic drums, to get to the same, like he would delay my acoustic drums sometimes 17 milliseconds to get to the same spot of the actual trigger, which was like out of control. Like that's crazy. So then we switched to everything. We took it all off Ableton, and now I have them all on the TD50s. I'm pointing at the TD50s like they're over there, but they're not there.
Well, yeah, I saw that. I saw that gear breakdown that you did with those.
Yeah.
I forgot, was it with Roland or something?
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, it was insane. That setup is just crazy, but that's why it sounds so good when you guys play live, because everything, I love that live feel. So like with Bishop, before I had any acoustic elements, it was all like I was playing everything. There was no drums on tracks. The backing tracks just had like swells and random stuff, you know. Yeah. But because I wanted to make it feel like human, and that's, you know, the triggers and stuff, especially Roland's gear is so good for that, you know. Like your rig, that setup is insane, you know. It's just awesome.
The Roland stuff is just unreal. Like I think for that entire world tour, I maybe broke one trigger. Like I broke one BT1 and maybe like a trigger or two. Yeah. It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You break them all the time.
The only thing that, for me, when I was joking about breaking stuff, like the only thing that I was breaking were the pedals, because I hit my kick like so hard. But when I got to the KT10s or whatever, then it was like they were great. I never broke anything after that. But yeah, it's funny.
What
gear,
was
man?
The one before the KT10?
What's that?
What was the one before the KT10? Or was it KT9?
They had
KT9.
the KD9 and 7 too. They had before that or whatever. I broke a few of those. Yeah.
Awesome, brother. Like I know you got the kids and the wife and everything at home, so I don't want to don't want to keep you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, man. And
Dude,
I look forward to hanging and seeing you again soon. I'm a
hopefully
big
I'll
fan of
get
yours.
down there. Yeah, hopefully I'll get up.
Yeah, yeah. Let's shed. I don't know how to jam virtually like this because there's a delay,
Yeah,
but you know, let's
there's a
get
bit
in
of
a
a
room
delay.
sometime soon. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming, man.
yeah. But
Awesome.
have a
Have a
good day,
good one.
man. See you
Be
soon.
safe.
All right, peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end. Does anybody have any questions about anything you heard? Maybe I could take like 5 of them or something. What do we got here? Anybody? Preferably in English. Hello, Jose. You too, Paul. Yahoo! Just drums. Play Do I Want to Know? Mike, save the live. I'll save it. I would definitely save it. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not seeing any. I don't have your number. Otherwise, I could call you. I will save the live. Hopefully. Hopefully, I don't mess it up. I'm not too savvy with this whole Instagram live thing. But I mean, this went pretty well, right? This is my first time doing this. Hey, Veronica. How are you? Say hi to Sophia. Cool. Well, hey, listen, thank you so much for everybody tuning in and everything. Thank you, Just Drums. So we're going to do this again, but next week we're going to do it from Just Drums. So I pinned their thing. If you look at the bottom of your screen, they're Just Drums TO. So go follow them. Go follow them. And then next week I'll be live. I'll be live on their account. And yeah, we're going to try to make this like a weekly thing, you know? I'll get some more guests on next week. I don't know. If any of you guys want to come on, let me know. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, Just Drums. Don't forget, follow Just Drums at Just Drums TO. Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good one.